The first and most fundamental step in transformation is to honestly acknowledge your weaknesses without self-deception or delusion. This is a difficult and uncomfortable process, which is why most people avoid it. Confronting your reflection and recognizing how fear, laziness, and insecurity have shaped your life is painful. However, if you refuse to face these truths, you will never move beyond them. Weakness isn't just an abstract idea, it shows up in real ways. It's in every excuse you make, every promise that tomorrow will be different while you change nothing today. It's in wasted time, distractions that numb discomfort, and the avoidance of responsibility due to fear of failure. It's the victim mindset that convinces you life is unfair, that others have it easier, and that the world owes you something. But the truth is, no one is coming to save you. No one will pull you out of mediocrity. It's up to you. To break free, you must be brutally honest with yourself. Strip away the lies and ask, where am I weak? Where have I chosen comfort over growth? In what areas have I settled for less than my potential? You need to analyze your behavior as if observing a stranger. What patterns emerge? How often do you take the easy way out? How often does fear silence you when you should be standing tall? Many people resist this process, blaming bad luck or circumstances instead of taking responsibility. But those who refuse to confront their weaknesses will remain in the same place years from now. Weakness thrives in avoidance and denial, keeping you stuck in a life far beneath your potential. Yet, the moment you acknowledge it, you take back your power. Seeing the problem clearly means you can no longer ignore it or justify stagnation. This is where transformation begins, by dismantling the weak version of yourself. Along with your excuses, self-imposed limitations, and addiction to comfort, growth requires sacrifice and short-term suffering. But the alternative is far worse, waking up years later, filled with regret, knowing you could have been more. The pain of discipline is nothing compared to the pain of wasted potential. So, face yourself, expose every flaw and destructive habit, and decide, right now, that you will no longer be a prisoner to them. The moment you refuse to tolerate weakness, you begin building strength. There is a force inside you waiting to break free, but it's buried under layers of doubt, fear, and conditioning. It's not a lack of potential that holds people back, it's the limiting beliefs they've accepted as truth. If you tell yourself you're not good enough, you'll act like it. If you believe success is for others, you'll stay on the sidelines, watching life pass you by. The real tragedy is that most people never question these beliefs, they simply accept them as reality. But what if they're not true? What if the limits you think define you are just stories you've told yourself? The mind is powerful. It will believe whatever you feed it. If you focus on excuses, your brain will justify failure. If you focus on fear, it will build walls around your potential. But if you shift your mindset, if you start believing in your own strength and capability, everything changes. This isn't just motivational talk, it's science. Your brain rewires itself based on what you consistently reinforce. If you act as if you're strong, confident, and capable, your brain adapts to align with that identity. It starts seeking opportunities instead of obstacles, action instead of hesitation. Slowly, the weak version of yourself fades, replaced by a stronger, more resilient version. However, you can't just think your way out of limiting beliefs, you must act. Action is the antidote to doubt. If you believe you're weak, start training. If you think you're not smart enough, start learning. If you assume you'll fail, do the work and prove yourself wrong. Each time you push beyond old limits, those limits weaken. Every step forward loosens the chains holding you back, until one day, you've broken free. But freedom isn't given, it's earned. Most people will never earn it because it requires responsibility. It's easy to blame circumstances, genetics, or luck. It's easy to say, this is just the way I am. But that's a lie. A convenient one that removes the burden of change. If you want to rise, you must take full control of your mind. No more excuses, no more waiting, no more playing small to avoid discomfort. You are the architect of your life. You decide what you believe, how you act, and whether you remain trapped by your own limitations or tear down those walls and claim your strength. The choice is yours, but if you refuse to choose, if you let fear and doubt decide for you, you've already lost. Comfort is a slow poison. It doesn't strike suddenly, it creeps in. convincing you that you're fine where you are, that there's no need to push harder. And so, you stay still, choosing ease over meaning. But the moment you stop challenging yourself, you start decaying. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. Strength isn't built through ease. The life you want and the person you're meant to become exist on the other side of hardship. Most people don't want to hear this. They want shortcuts, results without sacrifice, achievement without struggle. But life doesn't work that way. Everything valuable, everything that has ever made you better, has come from discomfort. Think about the times you truly grew. Those weren't the easy moments. They were the ones that tested you, the ones that forced you to adapt or break. Ironically, what most people fear, struggle, is what will make them great. Seeking comfort as a goal in life is a mistake. Comfort breeds stagnation, and stagnation leads to weakness. The only way to grow is to deliberately face challenges. Don't wait for hardship, seek it. Choose the difficult path because struggle refines you into something stronger. Yes, it will hurt. There will be moments when you want to quit, when the weight of difficulty feels unbearable. But that is exactly when you must keep going. Pushing through suffering builds something within you that cannot be broken. You stop seeing hardship as an enemy and recognize it as an opportunity. Every struggle becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes fuel. Every discomfort strengthens the foundation of who you are becoming. When you live this way, everything changes. You stop fearing difficulty. You stop avoiding pain. You stop looking for the easy way out. Instead, you embrace the struggle. You welcome challenges. You seek out situations that force you to rise higher. And because of that, you become unstoppable. No obstacle can break you because you have trained yourself to thrive under pressure. You have built a mind and body that do not crumble. You have transformed into someone who does not retreat, who does not surrender, who does not allow fear to dictate their life. But this doesn't happen by accident, it happens through deliberate action. Every day, you must choose discipline over comfort. Push beyond what feels easy or natural. Silence the voice of fear that tells you that you can't. The longer you do this, the more you realize your limitations were never real, they were just excuses. When you break through them, when you finally understand that you are capable of enduring and overcoming far more than you ever thought possible, that is when you truly become free. So, step forward, step into the discomfort, step into the hardship, let it refine you, let it forge you, because the fire that burns away weakness is the same fire that builds strength. Strength is not given, it is earned. It is built through effort, discipline, and suffering, and it's not just about the body or the mind, it's about both. A weak body leads to a weak mind, and a weak mind allows the body to deteriorate. They are connected, reinforcing each other in ways most people fail to understand. You see it everywhere. People trapped in cycles of weakness, too tired or discouraged to fight back. They convince themselves they don't have time, that their circumstances prevent them from becoming stronger. But those are just stories designed to protect them from the discomfort of change. But here's the truth. You must train your body because it carries you through life. A weak body leads to low energy, poor focus, and lost confidence. But when you build physical strength, something shifts. You move differently. You stand taller. You breathe deeper. You become more capable in every area of life. The same is true for the mind. A weak mind crumbles under pressure, seeks distraction, and avoids struggle. But a strong mind is built through discipline, through a willingness to suffer for something greater. Your mind will resist. It will beg for comfort. But you do not listen. You override that voice with action. Because in the end, life will test you. And when those moments come, you will either break or stand firm. The strength you build now will determine which one it will be. Strength, mental or physical, is not something you wake up with one day. It is built, earned through every step into discomfort, every choice of discipline over laziness, and every decision to do what is difficult rather than what is easy. The longer you commit to this path, the more unshakable you become. What once seemed impossible becomes routine. Burdens that once crushed you grow lighter, and the version of you that hesitated, doubted, and broke under pressure fades into memory. You have a choice. Either let weakness dictate your life, robbing you of potential and keeping you fragile, or fight back and take control. Strength isn't something you're born with, it's something you become. You can have ambitious goals, detailed plans, and a clear vision of who you want to be. But none of it matters without consistent action, not just when you feel motivated, but every single day, relentlessly, whether you feel like it or not. Transformation isn't a single decision, it's the result of repeated choices. Over and over, until they define who you are. Most people don't fail due to a lack of potential but due to a lack of consistency. They act in bursts when motivation strikes. But as soon as progress feels slow or effort becomes tedious, they stop. They convince themselves they'll try again later. But later never comes, leaving them trapped in a cycle of starting and stopping, never making real progress. The truth is, meaningful action is hard. It demands effort, pushes against resistance, and challenges your limits. Left unchecked, the mind seeks the easiest path, whispering excuses like, "Just one skipped day won't matter," or "Tomorrow will be better." But if you listen to that voice, hesitation creeps in, momentum is lost, and once momentum is gone, it is infinitely harder to regain. That's why you cannot negotiate with yourself. You don't wait until you feel ready or until conditions are perfect. You take action regardless. Action builds momentum, and momentum fuels transformation. Each disciplined act makes the next one easier, compounding over time into extraordinary results. But this requires commitment, not to an outcome, but to the process. You must fall in love with the work, the grind, the daily discipline, even when progress is invisible. Success is not about talent or luck, it's about persistence. The ability to keep going long after excitement and motivation fade. Anyone can work hard when they feel inspired. True strength is built when you push forward even when every part of you wants to quit. That kind of discipline transforms weakness into strength, hesitation into confidence, and potential into reality. When you embrace this mindset, you stop waiting for motivation. You stop relying on external forces to push you. You become self-disciplined, self-sustaining, and unstoppable. Failure, setbacks, and exhaustion cannot break you, because you've trained yourself to keep moving forward no matter what. The person you are today is a product of your habits, choices, and beliefs, but it is not fixed. If you've reinforced weakness, hesitation, or self-doubt, it's because you've unconsciously accepted that identity. But just as you built that weaker version of yourself, you can dismantle it and rebuild something stronger. Rebuilding yourself is not about tweaking a few habits, it's about completely transforming the foundation. This requires brutal honesty. Who have you really been? Not the version you present to the world, but the truth. Have you been undisciplined, fearful? Have you made excuses? Until you acknowledge your reality, you cannot change. People avoid this self-reflection because it's painful. But if you want to become unstoppable, there is no room for self-deception. Once you recognize what must change, you must refuse to accept your old self any longer. It's not just about shifting your mindset, it's about proving it through action. Every choice must reflect the person you are becoming, not the person you were. This is where most people fail. They decide to change but, when challenged, revert to old habits because their identity hasn't caught up to their intent. You cannot simply tell yourself you are strong, you must prove it to yourself. You cannot just say you are disciplined, you must live it. At first, it will feel unnatural, but if you stay with it, those actions become second nature. One day, you realize you are no longer pretending, you have truly become someone new. The goal is not just discipline, it's transformation into an identity where discipline is effortless. You no longer fight hesitation because it no longer exists. You no longer resist discomfort because you know it makes you stronger. But transformation is not a one-time event, it is an ongoing process. Strength must be continuously earned. The moment you stop pushing, you start stagnating. Growth never ends. And that is not a burden, it is a gift. Most people live and die never realizing their full potential. But you will know. You will know you did not settle. You will know you built yourself into something unbreakable. Everything you want is on the other side of fear, hesitation, and excuses. The weaker version of you must be left behind so that something stronger can rise. But that transformation will not happen by accident. It will not come through hoping or waiting. It will only come through relentless action, every single day. In the end, success is not about talent, luck, or circumstance. It is about the willingness to endure, to push beyond limits, and to make the choice, again and again, to become the strongest version of yourself. When you commit to that, nothing can break you.